When thinking about strategically managing online safety in school, we need to consider what that means. It can seem quite daunting as there's so many things to do, but I like to keep things simple, pragmatic. So think of it in terms of policy, technology, and safe use. Simplistically, policy backs up what you're doing in school. It's those documents that state your standardised processes, definitions, responsibilities and more. So obvious policies in the context of online safety might be your safeguarding and child protection policy, might be your eSafety policy, your ICT policy and your anti-bullying policy. There are others, and some schools call them different things, but with so many different policies, it can be really frustrating and time-consuming juggling all of these together, that it's easy to get confusing or conflicting information. What's important here is that your policies are working together. I know that sounds obvious, but let me give you an example. A part of your eSafety or your online safety policy may mention cyber or online bullying. There's no need to go into any depth within your eSafety policy, you just need to cross-reference that to your anti-bullying policy. For example, a statement such as any incidents of online bullying, which is defined within the school anti-bullying policy, will be dealt with in accordance with the school behaviour policy. This keeps things nice, simple, clear, and it eliminates the possibility of mistakes if policies are reviewed at different periods or by different people. I've carried out scores of audits in schools, and a couple of things I come across quite commonly are worth a particular mention. Firstly, there's nothing wrong with downloading a template from the internet. There's no need to be reinventing the wheel, and there's plenty of good examples. But remember, that's all it is, a template. You must ensure that it's tailored to your particular setting. For example, during an audit, when I ask what the school will do in response to a certain incident, I sometimes come across what they say they'll do is different to what it says in the policy, and that's usually because the template hasn't been tailored. Just remember that when you're reviewing your policies that you're doing it with others. For example, when you're reviewing your eSafety policy annually, ensure mention of child protection processes is reviewed with a designated safeguarding lead. Again, I know that sounds obvious, but it is something I've come across on a number of occasions in the past. Another one worth mentioning is a statement that's very commonly seen, and it goes something along the lines of, whilst all measures are put in place to protect children from inappropriate content on the internet, the school cannot be held responsible, etc. And whilst that statement is understandable, bearing in mind it has no basis in law. As the corporate parent, you are responsible. And if you're using technology in your school to mitigate risk, then you must use it to its full potential. And that brings us on to the next section. In the context of this video, technology isn't the tech you're using with students, it's the technology that's used as part of the safeguarding role. For example, filtering and monitoring tools. As I've mentioned before, it's important that you adopt a whole school approach. Technical tools are usually managed by technical people, but it's really important that responsible persons, such as senior leaders and governors, have a knowledge of how those tools work, but from a non-technical level, and what is available within those tools that may assist with their role. For example, good internet filters have reports available within them. So what reports are available within your filter? Who's looking at them, and how often are those reports or summaries made available to senior leaders? Monitoring tools such as Net Support DNA go a lot deeper than that, so it's important that senior leaders have a knowledge of what's available with those sorts of tools in order that expectations can be set in regards to its use. Again, coming back to policy, you could include a statement that it's the role of such and such a person, for example, network manager or IT department, to make reports available and the period you would like, for example, weekly, and to whom. So again, this standardizes the process so that everybody is aware. Safe use is the educational aspect. The curriculum is the obvious one here, but it doesn't just have to mean the students. We also need to give good consideration of training to all staff, governors and parents as well. For staff and governors, it's important that you have an understanding of their baseline of knowledge, and importantly, where there are gaps in knowledge. Many people still see online safety as an IT issue, and this simply isn't the case. Understanding what staff do and don't know allows you to strategically plug those gaps and build on their knowledge. And probably the easiest way of doing this is by sending out a questionnaire. There's an example on my website on the resources page that you can have a look at, or you could even consider an online poll if you have a facility in school, or if not, look at something like SurveyMonkey. Keeping staff regularly updated is important, but what does regular mean? Once a year? Is it once a term? And what are you updating them with? Personally, I would say termly or half-termly, and this can be done in short 10-minute sessions as part of a regular staff meeting, for example. Updates would be given on areas such as new statutory requirements or guidance such as the new sexting guidance that came out in August 2016, new research that might change opinion, or perhaps patterns of incidents that have been happening in school and how the school has responded to these incidents. Parental engagement can be a hugely frustrating area, but it is a really important one. How do you currently engage with parents? Perhaps with a regular newsletter or even via social media. Use these channels to send out regular snippets of information in order to raise the awareness and interest levels of the parents, and also let parents know how the school can help and support if they have a question or a concern. Another way of keeping staff and parents up to date is to subscribe to my Ditto magazine. This is completely free and comes out regularly. Just sign up on my website and I'll let you know when a new one comes out. So hopefully that's given you an understanding as to how you can strategically manage eSafety on your school. It can seem daunting, but if you break it down into the simple areas of policy, technology and safe use, it does make it much easier. I haven't gone into any depth in this video as it's just setting the groundwork for the moment, and some of the topics we'll go into a little deeper in future articles and videos. So thank you for watching and see you next time.